Record. Distinguished panelists, esteemed educators, global advocates, and committed change makers, welcome to a walkthrough education intellectual exchange. Today we gather under a powerful transformative theme, empowered student voice, when learners become co-creators. Education is no longer about delivering content alone. It's about cultivating thinkers, innovators, problem solvers, and compassionate global citizens. When students move from passive recipients to active contributors, learning deepens, ownership strengthens, and transformation becomes sustainable. Co-creation is not a trend, it is a paradigm shift. It requires courage from educators, openness from institutions, and trust in our learners' capacity to contribute meaningfully. As we engage this distinguished global panel, let us listen not only for ideas, but for practical pathways, pathways that help us redesign classrooms, reshape policies, and reimagine learning spaces where every student's voice carries weight and purpose. Thank you once again. Let us begin this rich intellectual exchange. Thank you. I'm going to be welcoming our first speaker for today. Okay. According to the list, I can see Ambassador Yala is the first in my, okay. I don't know how you came in. Please, let me just give me a minute to, let me just arrange it so that I can see how you came in.
Kamal sir, ma'am.
Kamal sir is the opening batsman, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Opening
Okay,
batsman.
yes, I can see. I can see, but he's no longer in front. That's why. Okay, so I'm welcoming Ambassador Kamal to take over the virtual floor. Ambassador Kamal, you have 3 minutes to
Okay.
respond to
Thank
your
you.
question.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening. Namaste, namaskar, salam alaikum, and sat sri akal to everybody from my side and from India. Well, okay. Respected Gloria ma'am, our respected Rania ma'am, Nalini ma'am, Agrawal sir, Yala ma'am, Vinita Prakash ma'am, all the great speakers and panelists. Thank you very much for giving me the first opportunity, Gloria ma'am. This is Kamal Chand Lohani from Nainital, Uttarakhand. I would like to start by saying in Hindi, जिस प्रकार पतझड़ के बाद सूनी डालियों पर फिर से पत्ते मुस्कुराते हैं, उसी प्रकार जीवन में भी हताशा के बाद नई उम्मीदें जन्म लेती हैं। इसलिए कभी भी निराश मत होइए, हमेशा धैर्य रखिए। Just as leaves smile again on the barren branches of trees after autumn, similarly in life too, new hopes are born after disappointment. Always be positive and always have patience. Thank you. In the context of sustainable development, in my opinion, the sustainable development goals come alive when learners turn ideas into actions. Education becomes most powerful when learners become co-creators of a more just, green, and peaceful world. Learners can understand the sustainable development goals in simple real life ways. For example, they can study clean water by testing local water quality, or learn about climate change or climate action by planting trees and reducing waste in schools and neighborhoods. Project-based learning helps students work on real community issues. They can identify local problems like plastic waste, gender inequality, or lack of clean surroundings and design small solutions. Even simple actions like awareness campaigns, recycling drives, or energy saving ideas make a difference. Teamwork and collaborations are important. When learners work with teachers, with family members, with local leaders, with organizations, they see that change is possible. Yes, change is possible through shared effort. Technology also can help. Students can use digital tools to research, to create awareness videos and share ideas globally. And most importantly, learners should feel that their voice matters. When schools encourages critical thinking, creativity, and responsibility, students grow into active citizens. So, in the end, I'd like to say sustainable development begins in classrooms where curiosity meets responsibility. When learners are trusted as co-creators, they design solutions that are inclusive, creative, and lasting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kamal. Uh, your response is really amazing. Linking co-creation
Thank
to the SDGs elevates learning to global responsibility. So when learners design solutions aligned with sustainability goals, education becomes powerful and action-driven. Thank you very much for that.
thank you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be moving on to our next panelist for today, Ambassador Yala Padmaja, and she's going to be responding to the question, how can we empower young learners, especially in early and primary education, to see themselves as capable contributors? Over to you, Ambassador Yala.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's my privilege to speak on this global platform. My topic is how can we empower young learners, especially in learning early and primary education, to see themselves as capable contributors. For this, first, believe in every child is the first step. Every child wants to feel capable. Every child has potential. Children must hear you can do it. When teachers believe in themselves, children begin to believe in themselves. Confidence begins with trust. So, belief is the first step to empowerment. Next one is create self learning spaces. Children learn best when they feel safe. A classroom should be free from fear and shame. Mistakes should be welcomed as part of learning. So, a kind classroom builds confidence and courage. Safety helps children try new things. Next one is celebrate effort, not just results. Every effort deserves appreciation. Praise effort, not only marks. Hard work matters more than perfection. Small progress should be noticed. Success is not only about right answers. This builds a growth mindset. Give them a choice. Let children share ideas. Listen carefully to their thoughts. Encourage questions and opinions. When children feel heard, they feel valued. Encourage responsibility. Give simple classroom roles. Let them lead small activities. Responsibility builds confidence. Children feel proud when they contribute. Next one is connect learning to real life. Show how lessons matter in daily life. Let children solve small real problems. Practical learning builds purpose. They begin to see their value. And next one is support creativity and curiosity. Allow children to explore. Encourage drawing, building, and storytelling. Curiosity creates confidence in learners. Creative expression build identity. Next one, model respect and empathy. Adults and teachers must show kindness. Respect every child, especially equally. Each teach teamwork and compassion. Children who feel respected learn to respect themselves. I concluded that when we empower young learners, we shape their future. Children who feel capable learn with confidence and joy. Simple encouragement helps them believe in themselves. By trusting their abilities, we help them grow as active contributors. Let's guide them with care, patience, and belief every day. Every day. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ambassador Yala. That was an amazing response to the question, empowering young learners. Sorry, I should have turned it off. Sorry about that. All right. So, as I was saying, empowering young learners early builds lifelong confidence. Even primary students can contribute meaningfully when provided structured voice opportunities. Thank you very much for that amazing presentation, that amazing response to your question. And I'm going to move over to our next panelist for today, Ambassador Nalam Achota Ramachandra Murthy, and he's going to be speaking on how can digital transformation in education create more democratic and inclusive space for students' contribution. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my privilege to speak about this topic. It is very essential and important topic nowadays. Digital transformation can make education more democratic by giving equal access to knowledge. It is depends upon the online platforms, record lessons, and also digital libraries help students learn anytime and anywhere, any cost. So when we can use access increasing, then automatically increases their opportunities also. So every voice can be heard. So technology allows students to share ideas through decisions boards and also charts and also collaborative tools. So we can say that personalized learning paths are very important. Digital platforms can adapt to different learning speeds and styles. We can say this topic in many times. At the first, students can watch videos again and use support, audio support to try interactive quizzes, and also we learn fits individuals' needs. More students feel equal. So removing physical barriers, it is the most important thing. Assistive technologies such as screen readers, subtitles, and also speeches to text tools support students with disabilities. So it is the main point. Encourage students' choice. So this is the main thing present in education system. Digital platform allows students to choose how they present their learning strategies, and also they can create videos and also podcasts. So it is more important in learning democracy. So collaborate beyond borders. So online tools contact students from different regions and also cultures. We can say first we can say this one in my first speech. So I conclude that digital platform is not only about technology, it is about creating fair, inclusive, and participating and participatory learning spaces. When we use wisely, the results are also very good. Otherwise, the results are different from our education system. It is my opinion, man. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nalam, for this wonderful response. Indeed, digital transformation, when inclusive, expands access and democratize contribution. So, however, equity must remain central so that all learners benefit from technological advancement. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your presentation. And I'm going to move over to our next panelist for today, Dr. Mohamed Osama, and he's going to be speaking on what role does mentorship play in helping students confidently express their ideas and participate in decision making. The floor is yours, sir.
Very good evening. रगों में दौड़ते फिरने के हम नहीं कायल, रगों में दौड़ते फिरने के हम नहीं कायल, जब आँख ही से न टपका तो फिर लहू क्या है। We are not fond of running around in veins. What is blood if it does not drip from the eyes? Mentorship is a simple yet powerful bond between someone with experience and someone who is still learning and growing. For students, a mentor is like a guide, someone who listens, supports, and helps them make the right choices in their studies and life. It's not about giving lectures or strict advice, but about building trust and sharing wisdom that helps a young person move forward with confidence. Let's look at some of the biggest benefits of mentorship for students. They are academic growth and focus, personal growth and confidence, career awareness and planning, emotional and social support, leadership and life skills. Mentorship empowers students to confidently express ideas and participates in decision making by fostering self-esteem, providing a safe space for dialogue, and modeling critical thinking. Mentors build trust, encourage active participation, and guide students in developing communication skills, leading to improved independent decision making and academic engagement. There are some key ways: emotional support and validation, skill development and guidance, safe space for expression, empowered decision making, role modeling. Mentors act as examples, sharing their own experiences, mistakes, and lessons, which inspires mentees to assert themselves. This guidance is particularly critical for students from underrepresented or disadvantaged backgrounds, providing the necessary support to navigate challenges and actively engage in their education. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohamed Osama. Indeed, mentorship, as you explained, builds courage. When guided by supportive mentors, learners gain the confidence to articulate ideas and engage meaningfully in shared decision-making. Thank you very much for that answer. We appreciate you. And I'm going to move over to our next panelist for today. I'm welcoming Ambassador Miriam Salihu Suleiman as she speaks on what research-based strategies best support students in transitioning from passive learners to active collaborators in curriculum design. The floor is yours, Ambassador Miriam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So when we talk about helping students move from passive learners to active collaborators in curriculum design, research and practice both show that this shift has to be intentional. The first step is creating a psychologically safe learning environment. Students are more willing to share ideas and participate when they feel respected and know their voices won't be dismissed. If learners don't feel safe, they'll stay silent, no matter how many opportunities we create. Secondly, structured student choice is essential. Empowering student voice doesn't mean giving up all control. Research shows that students engage more deeply when they have choices within clear boundaries, such as selecting project topics, learning formats, or real-life problems that connect to their experiences. This sense of ownership increases motivation and commitment. Also, collaborative learning plays a major role. Learning is social by nature. When students work in groups, discuss ideas, ask questions, and reflect together, they move from simply receiving information to actively constructing knowledge. As John Dewey famously said, he's a psychologist, he said, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. This reminds us that classrooms should mirror real-life spaces where learners think, question, contribute, and take responsibility, not just absorb information given to them. Another important element is teaching students how to use their voice. Many learners have been taught how to ask questions, give feedback, or collaborate effectively. These skills need to be scaffolded, especially in traditionally teacher-centered classrooms. Feedback is key. When students are invited to reflect on lessons and see their suggestions influence future learning, that is, they have learned, but then their suggestions influence future learning, it reinforces the idea that their voice matters. Finally, we must be intentional about inclusion. I always talk about inclusion on this platform. Students' voice should not belong only to the most confident learners. Providing multiple ways for students to express themselves through discussion,
Oh. Wow, I guess it's her network. She was almost done. All right, okay, she's back. Mr. Miriam. And Mr. Miriam, I noticed you were concluding. Okay, I think that's that. I think it's a network. So thank you very much, Ambassador Miriam. Your response.
Okay, sorry, Dr. Gloria.
Okay.
Oh, can I just round
Okay,
this up? Okay,
round up.
Students, sorry, I said we must be intentional about inclusion. Students' voice should be heard through discussions, writings, visuals, or technology, ensuring that all their voices are heard. Conclusively, supporting students to become active collaborators requires a shift from teaching for students to teaching with students. When classrooms value voice, agency and collaboration, learners begin to see themselves as co-creators of their learning, not just passive participants. Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you very much for that amazing response. The strategies you shared affirm that collaboration increases engagement and retention. So transitioning from passive learning requires scaffolding, trust building, and gradually responsibility release. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Miriam, we appreciate you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Rania as she speaks on, as a global educator and advocate for innovation, how can we intentionally design learning environments where students are not just participants, but true co-creators of knowledge? Over
That's
to you,
a
Dr.
wonderful
Rania.
question. Wonderful question, thank you. Because the role of educators already has shifted to designing more inquiry-rich environments, more curating diverse resources, coaching students through ambiguity, we could say, and through modeling curiosity and what we call intellectual humility. So first, it's about designing for inquiry. Co-creation begins with questions always, not answers. Inquiry-driven learning places always students in the position of investigators. Instead of presenting conclusions, educators can pose complex, authentic problems. So students, meanwhile, can search, research, debate, test hypotheses, and generate new understandings altogether. So key design principles include authentic problems, interdisciplinary integration, so break down silos to reflect how knowledge operates in reality, definitely open-ended tasks, so how to allow multiple pathways and solutions, and iterative cycles encourage prototyping, feedback, and revision. Then it's about also building a culture of psychological safety and intellectual risk, because students cannot co-create knowledge in environments where their voices are marginalized or where mistakes are penalized. Therefore, psychological safety is foundational because learners must feel safe to ask difficult questions, safe to challenge ideas, including the teacher's idea, because teachers are not anymore the authorities. safe to experiment and fail, and safe to bring their identities and lived experiences into the learning space. So creating such a culture requires additional norms, active listening, equitable dialogue structures, reflective protocols, shared agreements about respect. It's all about how we can embed the student voice in curriculum design, because true co-creation goes beyond collaborative activities. It's about shared ownership of learning pathways. How this looks like, for example, students can co-design project teams. This is already happening, project-based learning. They can have choice in assessment formats. Assessment formats can be through podcasts or through research paper or through prototypes, through exhibitions. That could be a form of assessment. Through negotiated learning goals or student advisory panels influencing curriculum. So when learners contribute to shaping what and how they learn, then they invest more deeply. Ownership transforms motivation, I could say. And technology also is important. Technology is a collaborative amplifier because digital tools can actually enable collaborative research and open educational resource creation here in Greece and in Europe in general. We promote a lot of open educational resources. We have also the Open Learning Repository here at Digital School of in our ministry. Definitely, I know it's not easy. It's not happening on a large scale worldwide, how to co-create the curriculum with students. But I think that if we design with this intention and in a world that demands innovation, we must cultivate classrooms that reflect this culture of co-creation. Thank you very much, Eto Gloria. Happy
Thank
to
you.
see you all here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rania, for emphasizing intentional design. You have shown us that co-creation does not happen by accident. It requires structured opportunities, inquiry-based models, and a culture where questioning is welcome. So designing for collaboration ensures students' voice is embedded, not optional. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your response. And I'm going to move over to our next panelist for today, Ambassador Rajiv Kumar Agrawal, as he speaks on the question, he responds to the question, as an educational leader, how can platforms and initiatives be structured to intentionally cultivate student-led innovation and storytelling? Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to speak on a very meaningful topic. At this time, empowered student voice when learners become co-creators. Then the given topic as educational leaders, we can intentionally create platforms that support student innovations storytelling. So then I say, at this time, traditionally, education as follows as a simple pattern. Teachers speak, student listen, teachers decide, student follow up. But today education is changing. Modern education believes that students should not be passive listeners. They should be active participants in their learning journey. So what is a student voice? So then we say that student voice means giving student opportunity to express their ideas, encouraging them to ask questions, listening to their opinions seriously, involving them in decision-making process. So when students feel heard, then feel valued, and when they feel valued, they become confident and responsible. So learners becomes co-creators when they help choose project topics. So they participate in designing classroom activities. So then I say they share their personal experience and storytellings. So they work on real life problem solving projects. At this stage, students are not just receiving knowledge, they are helping to build it. So then we say some practical steps included. Number one, strengthening student council and leadership forms. creating open platform for debate, storytelling, and presentations. All the students using digital tools like blogs, podcasts, and student medias. So when institute trust student, so student rise to the responsibilities in this areas. So the impact are the students. Student must be confident and critical thinking, leadership, skill development, and creativity. So then I say at last, education today is not only about exams and grades. It is about preparing young minds to think, coaches, innovating, and leadership. Thank you, everyone, listening to me. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Rajiv Kumar Agrawal, for that amazing
Thank you, ma'am.
response.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, indeed, intentional platforms for storytelling and innovation allow students to see their ideas materialize, and structured
Thank you, ma'am.
ecosystems
Thank you, ma'am.
nurture creativity and sustain student-led initiatives. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate your response. And moving on, I'm going to welcome Ambassador Nalini Ashtana, the birthday girl. As she takes over, she's going to be speaking on how can educators integrate creativity and the arts to ensure students' activities shape their learning experiences. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, and a very happy evening to all the educators present on this global platform. We, the educators, can integrate creativity and the art by shifting from teaching for answers to teaching for experience. The art, music, storytelling, theater, visual designing, movement allows students to process learning in personal and meaningful ways. Then only they experience what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to implement those learning concepts. When we invite creativity into any subject, we give students the ownership of their own learning. And that's why in India, we are trying to shift 100% the classrooms from teacher centric to student centric. We are thriving to make the classroom in such a way that students take the ownership of their own learning. In the any of this, we need to ensure student activities shape their learning experience, which educator can do, offer them choices in how students demonstrate their understanding instead of asking them to do it in your own expectation, answer it or do it or that this and that. So allow them to express themselves what in the manner they want. Then secondly, as always, we advocate experiential learning. We believe in project based learning, and we ask them to do it in there as a project instead of learning. Encourage reflection and peer collaboration. We always ask them to reflect what they are learning and how they are learning, and whether they are correct or not, that they have to find out. Later we are there to assist you to do the corrections related to the concepts, but either you do it or then go to your peers and get it rectified then and there instead of educators intervening in them. Create safe space where experimentation and mistakes are welcomed. The moment we educators, we welcome their mistakes, there will be more learning happening. This is my personal belief because I have been asked to do the mistakes. My dad always used to say, keep doing the mistakes. I am there to help you to do your corrections. He never said that I'll do the correction. He used to say, I am there to help you to do the corrections. So, as an educator, I'm just taking it subject wise how you can bring this reform. History through performances, science through design and arts, mathematics through visual creativity, language through storytelling and medias, and choice-based assessments should be there to bring the learning to their level. And of course, project-based learning is always there. So encourage critical thinking, build confidence, support multiple intelligence, and making learning memorable. This is the thing. And when learners create, they can. And when they care, they truly learn. I'm repeating, and when learners create, they care. And when they care, they truly learn. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. And I hope I made a sensible statement to make people understand that how we can bring the change in our system. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. That was awesome. I love that quote. Thank you very much. The art opens pathways for expression beyond traditional academic formats. So creativity democratizes participation, especially for students who communicate best through visual, dramatic, and musical forms. Thank you very much. And I love the examples that you gave. That was awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to quickly move over to our next speaker for today, panelist for today, Professor Norberto Paranga Jr., and he's going to be responding to the question, from a global education lens, how can international collaboration amplify youth voices across borders? Over to you.
Yes, ma'am, Ma'am Gloria. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. From Manila, Philippines. Okay, so my answer for that,
Good evening.
yes, sir. International collaboration is essential in amplifying youth voices across borders, as it creates opportunities for young people to engage with peers from diverse cultures and backgrounds. This collaboration fosters understanding, strengthens advocacy, and increases the impact of youth-led initiatives. Here's how it works. Um, Creating global platforms for dialogue. International collaboration provides platforms where youth from different regions can engage in meaningful collaborations. These platforms enable young people to express their concerns, ideas, and collaborate on solutions, allowing their voices to be heard on a global scale. Number two, empowerment through knowledge sharing. Like what we are doing in our organization, the LAPIS, we share our insights and knowledge with other countries or with other foreign nationals because we believe in borderless education. When youth exposed to diverse perspectives and educational sources from around the world, they gain tools and confidence to advocate for themselves and their communities. Number three, building a cross-cultural understanding, like what we are doing. Collaborative projects and discussion break down cultural barriers and promote empathy. When youth from different countries work together, they learn from one another's experiences, creating a shared understanding of global challenges. This strengthens their ability to communicate and advocate a shared understanding for change in ways that resonate globally. And number four, expanding networks for global impact. International collaboration uh, connects youth with peers, organizations, and leaders worldwide, helping them build networks that extend beyond local boundaries. These global connections provide opportunities for joint advocacy and collective action, amplifying their effort to address issues like climate change, human rights, social justice, or terrorism. Number five, providing opportunities for leadership. Collaboration often places youth at the forefront of global conversation, allowing them to present their ideas and solutions to a wider audience. This exposure boosts visibility, encourages youth leadership, and ensures their voices are included in decision-making process that affect their futures. In summary, international collaboration enables youth to connect, learn, and work together, creating a powerful platform for amplifying their voices across borders. By facilitating cross-cultural exchange, knowledge sharing, and networking, collaboration helps you lead the way and driving positive global change. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, everyone, for giving me opportunity to share my insights.
Thank you very much for that, your wonderful views. Of course, in your words, international collaboration expands perspectives and deepens empathy and building cross-cultural understanding. And you also say that youth dialogue across borders nurture global understanding and shared problem solving. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate your views. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Binita Prakash. She's going to be responding to the question, how can student voice contribute to emotional well-being and mental health within the learning environment? The floor is yours.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, one and all.
Good
Amazing,
evening.
wonderful, talented, distinguished speakers and educationists. Your voice is your power. If you don't use it, no one will know what you need. Today, I would like to speak about how students' voice plays a vital role in promoting emotional well-being and mental health within the learning environment. School is not just a place for academic growth. It is a place where young minds develop emotionally and socially. When students are given the opportunity to express their thoughts, ideas, and concerns, they feel valued. And feeling valued is the first step towards emotional well being. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, when someone really hears you without passing judgment, without trying to take responsibility for you, without trying to mold you, it feels damn good. When students feel heard, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, they thrive. For example, imagine a classroom where students can openly share when they feel overwhelmed before exams. Instead of silently battling anxiety, they can suggest flexible revision sessions or peer study groups. This small act of listening can reduce stress levels significantly. Another example is student council or suggestion boxes. When students participate in decision making, whether it's about school activities, classroom rules, or anti bullying policies, they develop a sense of belonging. Research consistently shows that a strong sense of belonging reduces feelings of loneliness and depression. Student voice also encourages empathy. When classmates share personal experiences, such as struggling with pressure, family issues, or social anxiety, others realize they are not alone. As the saying goes, shared pain is half the pain. Shared pain is half the pain. Open conversations break stigma around mental health. Moreover, when teachers invite feedback about teaching method, students feel respected. A simple question like, what can I do to support you better? Can transform the classroom atmosphere. It shifts education from control to collaboration. However, student voice is not just about speaking, it is also about listening. Schools must create safe spaces where opinions are welcomed without fear of punishment or ridicule. Only then can true emotional well being flourish. In conclusion, students' voice is not a privilege, it is necessity. It builds confidence, reduces stress, strengthens belonging, and promotes mental health. When students are heard, they are empowered, and empowered students create positive, supportive learning environment. Let us remember, a single conversation can change a life. Let us create classroom where every voice matters because every mind matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Binita. This your response is really amazing. The connection between voice and well-being is vital. When students feel heard,
Thank
validated,
you
and
so much, ma'am.
involved, anxiety decreases and belonging increases. So emotional safety strengthens intellectual risk-taking. Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution that you've just shared with us. We appreciate you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Gloria Okpara as she speaks on how can technology be used responsibly and creatively to amplify student voice while maintaining ethical digital practices. Over to you, Dr. Gloria.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Gloria.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you for this. All right. I'll quickly run down through points that I wrote here. When you teach learners why before the how, it boosts their interest, especially when it has to do with technology. Coincidentally, I teach ICT. But I threw a question or ask them if they truly know that anything is not practical. It became a question between I think two boys like that. No, I told them plainly. Times are changing. Nothing online is private. You can access them. Why am I saying that? We are talking about how we can use technology responsibly and at the same time creatively. We have to continually emphasize on digital literacy. Yes, it is good to use them, but at the same time, let me know why you need to use them and how to do so. This will use them responsibly. With examples, I just now guidance is continuous in school. All the forms of learning, assessment we've mentioned, they're all okay. But until they know how to do it properly, the ethical aspect of what we are talking be denied. How can they turn use of Snapchat into designing meaningful things that they can own, which will make them to be properly known and responsibly known, not just for play or exposing arts. Let them work as learners, as on projects, problem solving. All these they can achieve with the use of technology. They should be responsible about letting them know the consequences. They know what to them. And if you fail to use it or use them at the right time, you will be punished. That's the way of responsibly using your technology and applying the ethical side of it. You then not use it to fully another charge by typing something not allowed or sharing or doing something outside acceptable at that time. So with that, let's teach also to use AI skillfully. Question whatever they are doing, be read by modifying it properly, not just copy and paste. Like someone rightly said, ownership is part of it. Thank you very much. And when we make them creative and apply the proper ethics, they will be empowered for real life skills.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gloria. I love the way you started your response. You said when you teach why, or when you teach the students why before teaching them how, their interest increases. Is really awesome, and that is the fact. This reflection underscores the delicate balance between innovation and responsibility. Technology becomes transformative when guided by digital ethics, safety, and critical literacy. So amplifying or amplification must always align with integrity. Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. I truly appreciate your presentation. And I'm going to move over to our next speaker, our next panelist for today, Dr. Sarika Kumari. Dr. Sarika is going to be responding to the question, what barriers often silence student voice, and how can educators intentionally dismantle these barriers? Over to you, Dr. Sarika.
Good evening, Gloria ma'am, and
Good evening,
all
ma'am.
our team. Good evening. When we speak about empowered student voice, we are not talking about allowing students to speak occasionally. We are talking about shifting power from teacher-centered classroom to learning spaces where students become co-creator of knowledge. However, many barriers often silence student voice. The first barrier is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of grades. In many classrooms, students learn that it is safer to stay silent than to be wrong. The second barrier is rigid systems, exams driven structure, fixed curricular, and time pressure. When success is measured only by marks, creativity, and critical thinking quietly disappear. The third barrier is hierarchy and bias, where only a few confident students are heard, while introverted learners, marginalized background, or language diverse students remain invisible. The fourth barrier is tokenism. When we ask for a student opinion, but decisions are already made, students quickly sense when their voice is symbolic rather than meaningful. So, how can we intentionally dismantle these barriers? First, we must create psychological and classroom where mistakes are celebrated as learning a step, not failure. When a student feels safe, they speak. Second, shift from instruction to collaboration. Invite a student to co-design projects, set classroom norms, choose learning format, and reflect on assessment method. When learners co-create, ownership increases. Third, diversity participant method. Not every voice is verbal discussion. Anyone's feedback, tools, art, and storytelling. Equity is voice means offering multiple pathways, no exclusion. Fourth, move from grading only outcome to valuing growth when assessment recognize improvement, reflection, and effort. Students feel their journey matters. And finally, we are, as educators, much practice listening with intention. Not listening to respond, but listening to understand. Sometimes empowerment begins with silence, the teacher's silence, making a space for student thought. Empowered student voice is not a strategy, are not empty vessels. Students are they are thinker, creator, leader. When learners become co-creator, classroom transfer into communities, and when classroom transform, education transfer. Thank you very much. This is opinion for today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sarika. You have courageously identified systemic and cultural barriers, and dismantling this requires intentional listening, inclusive practices, and educator self-reflection. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your presentation. And I'm going to move over to Ambassador Lagmani Kumari as she responds to the question. What advice would you give educators who want to start the journey of co-creation but feel constrained by curriculum demands? Over to you. Ambassador Lagmani, are you okay?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
everyone. Respected Gularia ma'am, Rania ma'am, Nai sir, Kamal Lani sir, Yala ma'am, Neelam ma'am, Lani ma'am, and everyone. Thank you so much to give me this opportunity. Thank you, Gularia ma'am. To educators who want to co-create but feel boxed in by the curriculum, my advice is simple. Start a small, stay elegant, and share control. You don't have to redesign everything overnight. You can begin by inviting a student to co-decide just one element, how they demonstrate learning. what examples the explorer, or how the structure a project while still meeting the same standards and outcome. Thinks of the curriculum not as a well, but as a frame within those required topics and skill. There is always a space a student to shape how they learn, what context the context it is, and who gets to speak in the classroom. When you standard exam explains these goals, how do you like to into collaboration and student into parents rather than passenger to take one until on lesson or even all assessment and left? A student help design it as that experience to reflect, refine, and gradually expand co-creation actors. You course in limit time. You feel that working with the curriculum, not against it, make your teaching more engagement, more meaningful, and more than human. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Lagmani. Your advice to educators navigating curriculum constraints is both realistic and encouraging. Co-creation can begin within existing frameworks through choice, inquiry, and reflexive dialogue. So thank you very much. Indeed, innovation does not require abandoning standards. It requires reimagining engagement. Thank you very much, Ambassador Lagmani.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to welcome Professor Dr. Suraya Bano as she responds to the question, how can higher education institutions embed student voice into research, governance, and curriculum planning? The floor is yours, ma'am.
Very good evening. This is Professor Dr. Suraya from India. Higher education institution embed student voice by shifting from viewing students as consumer or data sources to viewing them as active partners in the academic ecosystem. As number one, embedding student voice in governance. Active representation go beyond tokenism by empowering student governors with direct influential seats on high-level committees and boards. Structure for inclusion, develop multi-level forums, transparent feedback loops, implement continuous transparent feedback system where students can track how their input directly leads to policy changes. Number second, embedding student voice in curriculum planning. Co-creation models treat students as partners in designing their own learning experiences, which improves engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes. Empowered feedback. Utilize focus groups to deeply understand students' perspectives on modules, which can directly improve result, attendance, and teaching quality. Diverse input. Ensure curricula, particularly in for instant sustainable education, reflect the diverse background and perspectives of the entire student body. Number third, embedding student voice in research. Collaborative research involves students as active partners in research projects, allowing their insights to shape research questions and methodologies. Empowering student researchers, encourage students to engage in research about their own educational experiences, enabling them to identify and address issues such as those addressed in the diverse student voice research project. Action-oriented input, use research to inform tangible changes in institution rather than the just collecting data for report writing purpose. Key principles for success are training and access. Provide student representatives with the training and information needed to fully engage with governance, cultural competency, actively seek out and value voices from diverse and underrepresented communities, not just the most vocal or traditional student representatives. Shared responsibility, shift from an educator focused approach to a partnership where student input is recognized as a vital contributor to quality education. Now, I conclude. Higher education institution can embed student voice by stabilizing formal, permanent, and diverse representation in decision-making bodies, moving beyond consultative feedbacks to active, co-creative parent partnerships. The case studies involve student-led communities, co-designed curricula, and student-involved research projects, fostering a sense of ownership, improve academic engagement, and enhance institutional democratic culture. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Suraya Banu. Indeed, embedding student voice in governance and research transforms institutions into collaborative communities, and higher education must model the participatory values it seeks to promote. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. And I'm going to welcome Ambassador Nahid Raza to take over the floor. He's going to be speaking on from leadership and advocacy perspective, what policies or structural change are needed to ensure student voice is not symbolic, but truly influential in schools and communities. The floor is yours, sir.
My sincere gratitude and salutation to our leader, none other than Gloria ma'am, outstanding person as well. Sorry. She has given me outstanding and amazing topic, leadership and advocacy perspective, setting policies and structural changes to make students' voice truly influential. And all the eminent speakers have been talking on the same topic, and I have learned a lot, and nothing is left to speak on such topic because already lot many words have been delivered, very relevant, appropriate, and I come to know, and that has improved me a lot. My fellow educators, parents, leaders, and champions of young and youth, today we stand at the crossroads of history. We gather not in the shadows of indifference, but in the bright light of justice, demanding that the voices of our students be heard, not as faint echoes in empty halls, but as thunder rolling across the mountains of change. I have a dream where the wisdom of youth is not a token node, a symbolic ribbon pinned to the lapel of adult authority, but a living force shaping the soul of our schools and communities. From classrooms of Bilaspur to the corridors of our nation's capitals, let us rise together and declare no longer shall student voices be silenced symbols. They shall be architects of tomorrow. Oh, how long have we journeyed in this wilderness of exclusion? For too many years, we have paraded student council as pretty facades, elections staged like carnivals, resolutions filed away like yesterday's newspapers, advisory boards that advise no one but the status quo. We pat young shoulders and say, speak child, only to drown their words in the flood of adult agendas. This is not leadership. This is a betrayal of our sacred trust. True leadership, my friends, demand advocacy that amplifies the marginalized, that builds bridges from the playground to the principal's office, from the school gate to the government chamber. And today, from this mountaintop of moral urgency, we proclaim the policies and structural changes that will make it so. First, let us demand mandatory student representation in all decision-making bodies. No more optional invitations to the table. This must be enshrined in law and policy. Imagine school boards, those citadels of power. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nahid Raza. Indeed, will I say the Martin Luther King Jr. of India. Your leadership perspective highlights that student voice must move beyond token representation, and policies must institutionalize participation, ensuring learners sit at decision-making tables. Influence, not symbolism, define authentic empowerment. Thank you very much for that words of wisdom and your presentation. We appreciate. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Hussein Mugdum, and he's going to be speaking on how can institutions shift from traditional teacher-centered models to co-creation models without losing academic rigor. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. So how institutions can shift from traditional teacher-centered modules to co-creation models without losing academic rigor. For decades, education has followed a teacher-centered approach where knowledge flows in one direction from expert to student. While this model ensures structure and content coverage, it often limits students' agency, critical thinking, and ownership of learning. Co-creation, on the other hand, invites students to become active partners in the learning process. This does not mean lowering standards or giving up authority. Instead, it means refining and redefining roles. Faculty remains subject, experts, and academic leaders, but students contribute through dialogue, research collaboration, problem solving, and curriculum feedback. So how can institutions make this shift without compromising rigor? First, maintain clear learning outcomes. Academic standards must remain explicit, measurable, and aligned with accreditation requirements. Co-creation should enhance how outcomes are achieved, not replace them. Second, use structured collaboration. For instance, students can co-design project topics, case studies, and assessment formats within defined academic framework. The professor still sets criteria and evaluates performance using the robust rubrics. Integrate research-based learning. When students participate in real-world inquiry, data analysis, or community-based projects, rigor often increases because they apply theory in complex, authentic contexts. Invest in faculty development. Educators need training to facilitate dialogue, manage shared responsibility, and assess collaborative work effectively. So lastly, build a culture of accountability. Co-creation works best when expectations are high, feedback is continuous, and reflection is built into process. To conclude, shifting to co-creation is not about reducing academic rigor, it is about deepening it. When students move from massive receivers to active contributors, learning becomes more meaningful, more engaging, and ultimately more rigorous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hussein. You have powerfully clarified that rigor and co-creation are not opposites. Academic excellence can coexist with student agency when expectations remain high and inquiry remains structured. Thank you very much, Dr. Hussein. We appreciate you. And I'm going to move over to our next speaker, Mr. Anna Patrick, and she's going to be speaking on what assessment model best supports co-created learning without limiting student creativity. Over to you, Anna Patrick.
Good evening, Dr. Gloria. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Actually, when I went through that topic, I was able to see so many models that educators can use in helping children grow and to support them in creating originality, especially in the classroom. And one that I found so appealing was the peer assessment, that is also known as the structured dialogue. It helps build collaborative efforts between peers in the classroom. And one thing educators can learn from this particular model is that it helps them to notice the efforts these students or their students put in place and give them suggestion. It equally helps them to become slow in criticizing them because it builds in the children that their efforts is being seen. And instead of building criticism, it builds encouragement, or it encourages experimentation. That means these pupils will be able to try so many things to get their own opinions or suggestions from their educator. And another one I think works very well is the self-assessment, where these learners are advised to evaluate their own thinking and growth. And one thing that it does is that it supports creativity and it focuses shifts from right answers to learning process. It equally builds urgency and also instills motivation. It will help the educator in this model to ask questions like, what risks did you take? What would you revise and why? Why did you change your thinking? And when they do this, it will help them to know how they can help their learners. There are different models educators can use in building positivity and strength in the minds of their learners, but they need to know which one best suits. It doesn't have to be following the school curriculum all the time. But what if that curriculum doesn't work for your classroom? What if that curriculum doesn't work for your child? What if a particular model works for your child? So my advice is that educators should take out time to find which model best suits their students in order to make them grow and build a very warm and entertaining classroom. So thank you so much. That is all I could make from this research this evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Gloria.
Thank you very much. That was an awesome one. Assessment model must measure thinking, creativity, and collaboration, not just memorization. And you also stated that flexible assessment preserves rigor while honoring innovation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anna Patrick, for that wonderful presentation. And this brings us to the end of today's session. And this brings us to the end of today's session. As we conclude this powerful global intellectual exchange, one truth stands clear. Student voice is not a luxury. It is not an add-on. It is not symbolic. It is foundational and transformative education. When learners become co-creators, classroom becomes communities, schools become innovation hubs, and education becomes preparation, not just for exams, but for life, leadership, and global responsibility. Let us leave this session not merely inspired, but committed. Committed to listening more intentionally, designing more inclusively, and leading more courageously, also trusting our students more deeply. The future of education is collaborative. The future of education is participatory. The future of education is co-created. So once again, I say thank you to all our distinguished panelists and to every educator here who dares to empower students' voice. Let us continue walking this transformative journey together. Thank you very much and see you on our next session. You're all welcome. And I want to say a very happy birthday, happy belated birthday to my dear sister, Nalini. I'm very, very sorry. You see, Wednesdays are just so hectic. And most times on Wednesdays, I don't sleep because of the rigor of the work I have. Yes, I will tell you boldly that since I came back from work yesterday, I've not slept till now. So that's how my Wednesdays are. So please pardon me, forgive me for not celebrating you yesterday, and also for not sending flyers yesterday as well, and your certificates. Thank God we still made it. I was, it came to a point that I said, should I cancel this session? Then I said, no, I don't need to cancel it. Let me just write the questions and send, then take my time to design the flyers. And here we are. We're able to achieve something.
So sweet of you, so sweet of. And that's why I say, if the person is in your conscious, in your heart, in your thoughts, the blessings are already showering on you. So you haven't to wait for the time. Time is just a framed thing, but the conscious, your thought is always there with me. That is the blessing of Almighty. So I'm really blessed to have you all always in and always there in your thoughts. That is the pleasure of being a human and being a co-educator of you all. So thanks to one and all, and special thanks to my glorious Gloria. More power to you always. Keep doing the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Thank you for for constantly understanding. Thank you. I appreciate. So please let's turn on our cameras if you can, so that we can take our pictures before we go. We're still going to use our favorite emoji, the heart. So after the count of, hi Oluwabumi.
Yeah, Anani, please come there.
I'm just seeing,
great to see you.
I just saw her name now. Hi Oluwabumi, we miss you. We missed you. Dr. Gloria, are you still on transit?
Yes, ma'am.
Amazon Alexander, okay. All right, so let's go. Let's go. So after the count of 5, let's click on our emoji. 1. Amazoyala. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go, everybody. Oh, I still have, please, pardon me, we're going to redo this. I still have timer on my screen. Let me turn off the timer. All right, let's go again. Once again, I'm going to count to 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, everybody. Thank you. And see you next week. Bye-bye. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
How was your celebration yesterday? Oh, she left. So I wanted to ask her about her celebration yesterday. And
Ma'am, I forgot my phone, so I can't send all your messages immediately. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
No. I understand. It can happen to anybody. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Nalam told me, so I had to forward to him. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Have a good night's rest. Bye. Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Good night, one and all.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Shivratri.
Subratri.